We're live. Aaron Whitlow.
Brandon Spivey here, and we are the Markout Movie Podcasters. And on today's episode, we're doing a double dose of A Christmas Story, along with Christmas Story Christmas. Did I get the name right?
Yes, you did. Hey, Christmas story, Christmas.
Yeah. Aaron's doing things a little different, so I'm going to be telling you what this movie's about. Like we don't know what A Christmas Story is about, but anyway, I'll get to it. Okay.
Before we
All
get
right.
to that, before you jump in that, I gotta say this. Looking at both of the movies and knowing last night that you watched 8-Bit Christmas before you watched those, 8-Bit Christmas is by far the superior film, bar none, between all three films. I think
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
had
watch
much.
8-Bit again, but I just know that I absolutely loved it. Last year when we reviewed it, and and just thinking about you watching it, kind of you know tingly feelings, So
I should have watched it last because it was the much better film of all of these two.
exactly, and
Um,
we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
but anyway, okay, okay. I'm just gonna give a little synopsis of what IMDb gives you. In the 1940s, a young boy named Ralphie Parker attempts to convince his parents, teacher, and Santa Claus that a Red Ryder Range 200 shot BB gun really is the perfect Christmas gift. As far as the numbers go, it's got a 7.9 out of 10 on IMDb, 77% on Metacritic, 88% like it on Google. It's got a 90% Rotten Tomato score with an 88% score from the audience. So it is certified fresh, Aaron. Certified
Because
fresh.
everybody and their mama has seen this movie.
Oh God,
Um,
yes.
this movie is a classic. It's a classic. It is what it is. And last year when we watched 8-Bit Christmas, I made this comparison that what a Christmas story is for is made in the time that we was younger, we were kids, but it was hearkening to a time when my parents was kids, and
Yeah.
and so that time frame that you can relate to. Whereas with 8-Bit Christmas, it is a movie that is for our time frame that we can relate to, that we experience, and it's such a you know I don't know, and plus you have Neil Patrick Harris, and you can't really go wrong with Neil Patrick Harris. So
And Steve Zahn is the dad.
and Steve Zahn, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's so heartfelt. Like the father son relationship was like what I think A Christmas Story tried to solidify. I feel that 8-Bit Christmas actually accomplished, in my opinion, like the
Oh,
father and son
see,
relationship.
I was under the impression this was like one of your favorite Christmas movies.
It is. It is. Was at one point until I seen 8-Bit Christmas, and then rewatching it. I mean, I know it line for line verbatim essentially. Um, and, but it's just maybe because I've seen it so many times, like it's on heavy rotation. I think it's like eating crackers every day. You'll get tired of eating the same crackers.
Um, oh man, it was overexposed to me as a child, so I don't hate the movie. I just hate watching the movie, if that makes sense. Like I respect it for what it is, but I've seen it so many times. Like
Oh,
it's just
so people know what we're talking about. A Christmas
yeah,
Story.
yeah. I mean, it's just it was so overexposed when I was a child. The 24-hour thon they had on Christmas didn't help me because I watched that and like every year for like 4 or 5 years. So I have seen this movie more times than I've seen Jaws, and Jaws is my favorite. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. I don't know. Well, let's talk about. So the movie's about young Ralphie, who wants a Red Ryder BB gun. It's not BB gun. It's like an air rifle. I guess a BB air rifle. I don't know the difference. And it takes place in the, would you say, the 50s,
40s.
40s,
Yeah.
which would which the time frame in which Ralphie is an adult and the other one is in the 70s, does that match up? Or you feel like
No, not really.
yeah, I
He's
feel like
much
in
older.
the 70s Ralphie would be much, much older.
Well, he's like, I think how old is
He's
he?
probably
He
like
like
8 or 9 when he
it
was
is. Yeah.
in the 40s.
Yeah, depending. I'm going with it's 1940. So it'd be 33 years from now. He would be about 42. He looks like he's in his 50s. They all do.
Well,
All his friends look like they're in their 50s.
we know that Scott says in the sequel, because he said, hey, well, it's been 20, 30 years. And he said 33 years and so many days, if you're counting or whatever. Huh?
So it was in 1940.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Yeah. And we'll talk about part two. Well, technically, the part two with Ralphie, because there's been like 2 other prequels, movies that happened between A Christmas Story and what we are reviewing today. But Ralphie wants his gun, and and it has the feels of Christmas. He has a little brother who is weird. He's a weird kid. He's a weird little brother. I can't relate. My sister's was not weird, but maybe I have some weird cousins. But yeah, I, he wants his present, and he feels like that's all he really wants for Christmas. But everybody tells him you're gonna shoot your eye out. It's not a good present to have, a kid to have. I don't know, man.
So you never wanted a BB gun when you were a child?
Right? I never did. I never desired one.
I shot one once. I was about Ralphie's age.
Did you shoot your eye out?
I shot a bird.
Did it kill it? Okay.
I don't think I killed it, but it definitely went down.
It died later. But
I thought, man, I looked at this is a BB gun. How much damage can it actually do?
A lot, apparently.
Yeah, they actually can. Yeah, they can kill birds. I didn't know it at the time, but yeah, I learned that.
I think here locally there was someone that was, I don't know the story. I think there's a guy here in Bowling Green that was killed with either a BB gun or airsoft rifle or something like somebody shot at him and it ended up killing him for some reason. This is like a case that happened a couple of years ago. I don't know the story. I might be so wrong on it. If anybody lives in Bowling Green wants to comment. Now I can't see anything on Facebook, so here, which you have to find his YouTube channel and comment. But anyway, Christmas Story, the first one. It's hard to really talk about. I guess we can just compare it to the other one. Ralphie in this, when he's a kid, wants his gun, and he does a lot of daydreaming and illusions, which actually, going back and watching it, just takes me out of it. Like I don't like the daydreams and stuff.
So you probably didn't like it in the sequel either.
Oh no, I really didn't. And when they started doing that, I'm like, odd. So this is what we're doing here. But that sequel it's so bad. But
you didn't like the sequel, huh?
Oh, no. But we'll talk about it. But yeah, I think that although I do remember the illusions, and I know the illusions like with Black Bart or the daydreams with Black Bart with the teacher. But the parts that you remember that you like that you gravitate towards is Flick getting his tongue stuck to the pole, which is painful. It actually taught me not to do that.
I did it as a child after watching this movie. Didn't happen. My tongue did not get stuck. So I was like,
did someone trip it out there you, or did you just do it?
No, I just did it. I mean, I watched it one Christmas, and a few days later, I saw a pole. I tried. Hey, I like to try things.
That's what's gonna be on your tombstone. Here lies Brandon's baby. Hey, I like to try things. But yeah, man. I never tried it, but Also, I loved how everybody just like ran and left him.
Yeah.
Because it reminds me of an experience I had when I was a kid. There used to be this game where you would press on someone's chest to kind of make them pass out, which it's not a good game, but it is a game we had because we was bored. But anyway, we made a guy named Pierre, a buddy of mine, growing up. Pierre made him pass out, but we didn't think he passed out because the way he had his hands and the kind of look on his face is like, man, like this ain't working. So this how the face that he had. So we like, all right, we'll let him go. When we let him go, like a ton of bricks, he just fell and hit the ground. But when he hit the ground, like side of his head kind of scraped the like a concrete pipe, the concrete water drain, like there's on our house, and just like, and you start crying, and all those kids literally dispersed and left him there to cry. We we ran.
Yeah.
So, yeah, because kids, it's fight or flight, man, and we flew.
You flew away. You just flew away.
Man.
So yeah, you were saying that was a really good scene. Another one, for me anyway, was when the mother dressed the little brother up in the coats, and he couldn't keep his hands down. You know, they were just stuck right there, and he fell over in the snow, and he couldn't get up. I always liked that scene. I really did. Yeah, I always liked that scene. Thought it was funny. I think the brother's actually more interesting than Ralphie, honestly.
Yeah, he has an issue eating his food.
Yeah.
He
snorts like a pig.
Yeah, and he likes to be in the cabinet. I think I actually vaguely remember after watching this movie crawling in. I guess I tried stuff too. I remember crawling in under a cabinet.
You like to try things too.
Maybe, but yeah, I mean those parts of the movie was great. I always hated the scene with the. I always hated him breaking his glasses. You know, especially now that I wear glasses. Yeah. You know, like as a kid, I was like, "Oh, that's bad," but I didn't think about it. But now, you know, Brandon wearing glasses, you don't like anything messing with your glasses.
That's
you know,
true.
You don't want nobody touching your glasses. You don't when it's off, when it's not adjusted right, it bugs you. I can't imagine it being broken. But yeah, he almost shot his eye out. It'd been hilarious, kind of, if he did, but I'm glad he didn't because this is not that type of movie. But then he lied to his mom. Ralphie is a liar.
Yeah,
he is an interesting kid. He's more of an interesting kid than he is an interesting adult. We'll get to that.
I probably could relate to him better as an adult than I can as a
Really?
kid. Well, just the whole writing thing, you know, that aspect to it. That's the only aspect. But I don't know. Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot to really discuss here. I mean, he wants his rifle, and that's
the Christmas dinner at the Chinese restaurant, which is a bunch of racism, but okay, stereotypes of Asian people.
40s.
But yeah, in this movie, like this is in the 80s, so it would have went unchecked. Also, the fudge line. Oh, fudge. When I was a kid, I didn't get it that he cussed, and I didn't understand. I was like, "What's wrong with the word fudge?" I didn't realize that it was saying something else. I guess I didn't cuss a lot as a kid, but now I understand. And the way that his father looked at him, and with disappointment, the way his mom looked at him, but then he blamed it on Schwartz.
Yeah.
And then Schwartz got his butt whooped. Man, one kid I noticed didn't show up in the sequel or whatever. Is they had a third friend that kind of hung out with him as well, but they replaced him with this Larry guy, which is a new character. But that movie, okay. Anyway, but yeah, what did you think about what you think about the relationship between Ralphie and his father? Like, I kind of felt genuine. It felt genuine.
Yeah, I felt that he loved his father, but he was afraid of his father, and I think that I don't know, can't speak for you, but for me, growing up, I was terrified of my father. So, but I loved him at the same time, so I felt that connection there. It's a slippery slope there because my dad when he got angry, he put fear in you, just like Ralphie's father would, but he was a good father at the same time, so I can relate to that. The cursing though, my father didn't curse, so
My
uh,
father only had one cuss word, and I'm not gonna repeat it here, but it has an S to it, the S word, but then
yeah,
he adds fire to it. That's his cuss word. S fire.
that's fine.
Yep. But but yeah, I agree with you though. My father is, thank God I still have him. My father's growing up, he was he was he's very quiet. He's still quiet, but we have a better relationship now because we're both believers in the Lord. But then it was more of a you love him, but then you also your dad was the like he'll whoop you.
Yeah,
And then my mom will whoop too, but my dad is the one that you fear because hey, when your dad comes home, you're gonna get it. And then
it's usually a
but then
belt,
also
mine.
yeah, belt, yeah, belt. But you also when Ralphie wanted to help his dad change the nuts and hold the, but I remember being a kid going outside with my father. Um, he showing me how to like his working on the car, me holding parts for him or whatever, and not even knowing what I'm doing, or him showing me how to skin a rabbit and clean fish. My father, it's just my father. He's a country guy, and so he showed me how to do that stuff. And so I remember him. At the time I didn't think about it. At the time I probably wanted to rather be in the house, watch TV, cartoons, or whatever else, playing with toys. But my dad was trying to show me responsibility, and I appreciate that. And I love the relationship between Ralphie and his father. It seems like his relationship with his father is captured better in the first film than Ralphie's relationship with his kids in this other film. I feel like he doesn't have the same type of relationship with his kids that he actually has with his father.
Yeah, I think they dropped the ball with the kids though. Like,
That weren't interesting.
no, I felt like you really didn't get to know them. It was the focus was still Ralphie and what's going on in his life. It wasn't really about the kids, and I felt that's where they dropped the ball in that movie. It should have been at least 50-50.
Mm,
You got to care for the children, and I felt like we didn't get to know them.
yeah. Um. Yeah, I agree. Now I do want to talk about a scene like couple the bumpus sounds. Oh, we got to talk about a couple scenes in the first one because people will probably, ooh, if we don't talk about them. All right, we talked about the tongue stuck scene. We talked about the shooting the eye out. Not Flick, but Scud Fargus.
Fargus, yeah.
Uh, oh my, he has yellow eyes. Uh, this guy, he was terrifying as a kid watching this. Uh, he seemed like a bully, but I also felt, I know you can relate to this because you told me story before. That moment of just being frustrated and pushed to the very edge with bullies, and you lash out,
Yeah.
and the bully realize, oh, I, what have I done? Why did I mess with this? Why did I wake this sleeping bear? I've had that type of experience in my life, just in school or whatever, being picked on or whatever, and then next thing you know, you lash out. And that scene, I can actually relate to Ralphie a lot with his frustration. He's beating him up. He's cussing. He's just in a trance. He just seeing red, and because you get to a point where you just snap,
Yeah.
but the hurt on his face because he was hurt, like just and man, hats off to Peter Billings, is his name?
Yeah.
Something like. But hats off to him as a young actor. He really pulled that off real well. And I always related to him. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, that scene's very emotional. Bilfer says Happy Merry Christmas. Well,
Yay.
hey, Merry Christmas. I read it wrong. I thought it said Happy
Merry Christmas, Bilford.
Merry Christmas, Bilfer. What's it like
New
in New
York?
York?
Yep.
Yeah, he's in New York, right? Thought he mentioned he was in New York once.
He's in New York. He's a New Yorker. And I'm walking here.
Snowing there? Man, I haven't checked the weather in years.
But go ahead.
The scene was very emotional, but a lot led up to that scene. He's been picked on by Fargus, his everything going on with his dad or his parents, and the rifle that he wants he's not getting. Too many crazy people. Bilfer says it's dangerous. Too many crazy people.
I heard y'all have big giant rats. Also, my knowledge of New York is from movies, and that movie also includes Jason Goes to Manhattan, unfortunately. But yeah, so I don't have a lot of knowledge of New York other than seems dangerous.
A lot of classic films been taken.
A lot of classic films. Y'all are like a mecca of movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's the number one and number two place to shoot. I can't remember which is more, if it's New York or if it's LA.
You said we got a raccoon and possum problem. Well, we also have. No, we don't have a problem. I'm pretty sure we have them both. We don't have.
He wanted to have a problem, Bilfer. He wanted to have a problem.
I think we might have coyotes. I seen a fox once. I don't know. We have deer. We have deer.
Is it a problem though, Aaron?
You have a problem unless you're a car and you're driving. But anyway, but yeah, you said a lot was leading up to Ralphie.
Yeah, going off on him. In that scene though, and it's happening. I don't feel sorry for Fargus too much, but the way he's crying, he just gets slaughtered in this fight. When he's getting up, man, I did actually feel bad for him. It's like, man, he's bleeding from the mouth, the nose, crying. I mean, I just,
When are we doing a top films of 2022 show and Avatar 2 show?
2 weeks.
Well, the Avatar one, I don't know when I'll see that. Brandon, he can always talk about it, whether he liked it or loved it or hated it or whatever.
I'm hoping to get in there after Christmas, right before we do the top films, but we'll see. Money's tight.
Money's strange. Money. But anyway,
I felt sorry for Fargus in that scene, and I felt like at that scene, if they ever did do a sequel, he would do the Johnny Lawrence flip, become a better person due to that fight. I thought that's what they would do, and that's exactly what they did in the sequel and his cameo appearance.
He was one of the best appearances, actually.
Yes, he was.
And I loved. But anyway, but with the fight, man, and him being angry, and I remember in the scene with them getting ready to go to bed to get the, for Christmas. It reminds me of my parents sending me off to bed, and my mother mainly sending us off to bed. And I remember laying in bed Christmas Eve night, can't really sleep because you're just so excited about what's going to be. Finally you may fall asleep. I had an aunt, my aunt Denise used to actually bring me in the living room, like after my mom then went to bed, and let me see my presents. But I remember one Christmas. I was going to ask you your favorite Christmas memory. But my favorite Christmas memory was waking up and seeing. There's two of them, real quick, but it's pretty similar. Just two different toys. I remember waking up and seeing a chair full of Masters of the Universe toys, including the Castle Grayskull and the Snake Mountain, or whatever. I had both of them. I remember seeing those. And then I remember one year, 'cause I used to have wrestling toys anyway, but I remember the one year that my mom bought me like the actual ring because I used to wrestle and use my pillow and pretend like my pillow was the ring, you know, with my wrestling figures because I didn't have a ring. So I made believe that it was the
Yeah.
ring. And my mom one year bought me the actual WWF then ring, and I just remember that, man. That was just so good memory. Go ahead.
As far as favorite Christmas memory, you know, when you're living it, you don't really think about it like that. It's when time passes and you reflect on it, and you like. And I have to say, probably I was around 5 or 6. Was at my grandparents' house. The whole family was over there, and everybody's just unwrapping all their gifts. But there was one time I just looked around and just watched everybody enjoying themselves, even as like a 5 or 6 year old kid. And just really, I was really smiling, and somebody took a picture of me of smiling, looking around. But it was always a good time over there. I didn't get to see my grandparents all that much throughout the year, but it was just a really good time. That's probably one of my favorite memories, is just going over there and seeing them, because we hadn't done that in like 5 or 6 years now with how bad my grandfather's gotten. So,
Belford, could you read that for him?
My favorite Christmas memory: the day I learned Santa was what?
Fugazi, is that fake? Is he? I think Belford's Italian. I was 8 years old and I couldn't believe it. I don't know what that word means. I imagine it's a terrible, terrible thing to be. We're here in Kentucky. We don't have Fugazis. I don't know what that is, but that's gonna be on the shirt. What's a Fugazi?
I think I was 10 when I learned that, and it wasn't even a big deal when I learned it. It was like, okay.
I think for me as a kid, I had questions. The questions everybody have. We don't have a chimney. How'd you get in? Eventually I realized that my parents was buying me the gifts, and I was like, cool. I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
I remember getting that Nintendo 8-bit Christmas. I remember getting that NES or Super Nintendo rather, and I remember just being like so blown away, man.
Yeah.
I remember because Duck Hunt, Track and Field, and Super Mario Brothers. I think it was like 3 on the same cartridge. I think, and we had the Power Pad,
mm-hmm.
and it was game over. But then like when you get Sega, game
Sega
over.
was probably my fondest, like at my house, like gift wise. That was special because it came with Sonic 2, and I played that. Oh my god, so much!
It was a game changer. Sonic was a game changer. But yeah, those are some good memories. But yeah, the movie ends with Ralphie laying in his bed, sleeping with his rifle, and he's happy. Let's see. I cried when I got the Nintendo Power Glove. It sucks, and it didn't work. F you, Fred Savage from the movie Wizards. Oh wow! All right, he's not wrong.
What that's from?
I never had the Power Glove. We couldn't afford it, but nor did I want it. I don't think I wanted it. Maybe there's part of me that wanted one, but
I mean, it looked cool, but see, I never knew it was a flop. Like it didn't work. I didn't know that till 8-bit Christmas. Like I didn't, because I never had it, never played it. I think it may have been before my time. Actually,
I remember it. I
really don't remember it. Honestly, I remember it in the store once, but I was like, "What's that?" It didn't like jump at me like I gotta have that. That's the next big thing. Obviously, it wasn't. It's the next big flop. But so I never played it though, so I don't know. I just know what 8-bit Christmas told us it was.
You ready to go ahead and give your marks for Christmas story?
Well, before we do though,
one thing, real quick before you say your
we haven't talked about the lamp.
Yeah, we gotta talk about the lamp, but I want to talk real quick. I just thought about it, and I don't want to forget it. The father, I love one of my favorite scenes in the Christmas story, and I want to mention it is when Ralphie's father, his old man, is watching him open up the present for the rifle, and him trying to talk him into pouring the pellets in there and everything. I just loved that fragile. Yeah. Uh, fragile. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, we're gonna. But yeah, I remember that scene, man, and I'm watching that scene rather, and I love the joy on that on his old man's face. Just his just he said I had one when I was his age. He just wants his son to have the best Christmas. And that's what you want for all your kids or your grandkids. You want them to literally, and Ralphie said that in the sequel. He says when you was a kid, it's about you wanting to have your best presents for Christmas. But when you're adult and your parent, you want your kids to have the best Christmas. And so I can relate in a different way watching this. I can relate to the father and his joy. I love seeing my kids, my stepkids. They're my children. I love seeing them opening their presents on Christmas. My grandkids opening her presents. I love seeing them. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
no, you love Dawson seeing his. So
yeah, and I try to give him everything he asks for and everything what he needs, and yeah, it's all for me. It's about it's about Jesus, but it's when it comes to family, it's just about spending time with him because no day is guaranteed. You may never see him again. I take that to heart. The past 2 years, so it means a lot to me. I'm trying not to get emotional, but yeah, yeah, it's all about seeing Dawson happy, my family happy, and at this time of the year. So that's.
But yeah, you brought up the leg lamp.
The leg lamp, yeah. I never really looked at that lamp as important growing up watching it, but all the memes you see or all the the T-shirts that came from A Christmas Story, that's the most noticeable one is the leg lamp or the figurines. I love that leg lamp though. I don't know what kind of person in 1940 would have wanted a leg lamp, but I respect that man for wanting one. That winning it, he won it. So
it's a major award.
Yeah, it was, and his wife hated it.
Oh, so, the men in the town loved it.
I imagine, and I can understand.
Ralphie was touching the leg. Yeah. I love that. It's just like, yeah, that's subtle hints. Also, there's subtle hints in the sequel with his son and his like exploration into sexuality. But yeah, the leg lamp, and then his wife broke it. I just dusted and it fell off, but really, she broke that lamp.
No, I don't want to say she did it on purpose, but I kind of think she did. I don't want to say she did because it was important to her husband's. It was kind of important to him, so I wouldn't think she would do it on purpose. But she absolutely hated that lamp, and she wasn't sad to see it go. So
yeah, and if something happens, oh well. But yeah, I love the leg lamp. So are you ready for the marks?
Yeah, I'll let you go first since you really like this movie better.
Let me give this 3 markouts out of 5. I give it 3 because it's a classic. I enjoyed it growing up, not so much now. It's something that I don't like. Oh, streaming, let's watch it. Other than now, because I want to see the sequel, so that's why we watched it. But yeah, it is there now. It's nowhere near 8-Bit Christmas, which is a 5-star movie, a 5 markout movie, in my opinion.
In your opinion, yeah. I didn't like it as I like it a lot. I didn't like it that much, but
from 8-Bit.
Yeah, 8-Bit. Yeah, it was the, and we'll go into it when we talk about the sequel a little bit more. But my score is the same as yours. It's 3 out of 5, and it's I guess a respect factor because I want to say this was like the first big Christmas movie during the 80s. Like, and obviously, it had to be. They showed it for 24 hours on Christmas, so
You had no choice.
so I do respect it. I just every time I watch it, it's just I just want to cut it off. I just want to cut it off so bad. It's not that I hate it. I don't hate it. It's just growing up watching Ralphie, he annoyed me each time I watched. I got more annoyed by him, and it lives on in a sequel too because I don't like Ralphie. When it comes down to it, I just don't like him. But it gets a 3 out of 5 for my viewing experience.
Peter Billings reprises his role in Christmas Story Christmas. Before that, there was It Runs in the Family, which stars Karen Culkin as Ralphie. I forget who plays everybody else. I think, like I said, the guy that played in Beethoven or whatever, he always plays the dad and everything.
Charles Grodin.
Yeah. He plays he plays his old man in that movie, which I liked it, but it's like it felt like an unofficial sequel to the movie.
Yeah.
And then I think it's a sequel to the book, to the novel. I think there's a novel. I think the novel has a sequel to it, and maybe that's what that is. It's the summer when Ralphie, is how he spends the summer, and I'm trying to get top, those pegs or whatever, those things that run, and you like. I don't know that game. I never played that game, but yeah. So Karen Culkin's in it, and then Mary Steenburgen. I don't know her name. She's
done quite a few Christmas movies.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, though, right?
Yeah.
She's Steinberg or whatever. She's as Ralphie's mom in it. She's crazy about a gravy boat. Well, she's crazy about like getting. So she goes to this movie theater matinee, and and if everybody goes to the matinee, they all get rewarded with a piece of china to add to their collection. And this guy has kept giving them, hadn't given them the rest of them, only giving them just a gravy boat. And it's the guy that was on Beetlejuice as like Ortho, the heavyset guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that just is not really giving them the rest of the stuff that they promised. And so she throws the gravy boat at him, and all the women in the audience throw the gravy boat at him, and the guy gets pelted with the gravy boats. Which, yeah, it was a movie. It wasn't bad. It was interesting. But then I didn't see A Christmas Story 2 that came out a couple of years ago with Daniel Stern.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. Did you watch it?
I did not. No.
I assume it's terrible. I assume it's terrible. Nothing against Daniel Stern.
Yeah, he doesn't make anything good.
I love him.
Yeah, I do too, but he doesn't get offers to be anything that's good these days. So
that's true. I hadn't really seen him in anything, honestly. And so when he popped up in that, I'm like, maybe, but I never desired to watch it. To this day, that's two movies I've never watched. This and the RoboCop remake. I've never watched it. Just had no desire at all to see it. But anyway, just like I don't care. I just don't care. It's not RoboCop. But anyway, finally we get A Christmas Story Christmas that came out 2022 with Peter Bill. So Peter reprises his role as Ralphie. He's now married to some lady.
Ellen. Not Ellen. Yeah. Erin Hayes.
Yeah, she's interesting, I guess. But one thing I wish they would have done, but the lady that played Ralphie's mom is still living in the original, but she just retired from acting, so she doesn't act any longer. So they replaced her with, if you are aware of Airplane, she's the love interest.
I haven't seen it.
You never seen Airplane? She's the love interest of Stryker in Airplane. and she's a flight attendant, or stewardess is what they call them then. But she's an airplane. Now I also realized, and correct me if I'm wrong, she's been in another movie or something where she was the mother, but she was not the same of the character was played by a different actress in another film. So she is a serial mother role stealer. Because like whatever else was she is in recently, she is in something. And she played the mom. I can't recognize her. She's very noticeable for me.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, you're not the person that had in the original. Um, that's just her. That's her vibe, man. She said, I'll do it. She's like the D Wallace of of, of moms, like of older mothers, I guess.
We're reaching.
I love D. Now. I love me some D Wallace, but
she was great at a point in time. She's not so much good anymore, but you know.
I haven't seen her in anything. Who D?
Creepers Reborn. She's in that.
She's in what?
Jeepers Creepers Reborn.
Oh Lord, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was sorry too.
Why they do it to her? She's in. She was in something. She played a mom. She showed up real briefly in the movie. I forgot what it was. I think it had Danielle Harris in it. I don't know. She just briefly popped up in it. Like no, it was a movie where she was selling somebody the property, and she popped up as like the person selling the property. I forgot what the movie is. It's something on Shudder.
She works with, I would say a lot, but she does occasionally work with Rob Zombie.
It's probably a Rob Zombie movie that I'm thinking about. It probably is. Probably I can't stand Rob Zombie anymore. Oh Lord! But anyway, like him and Kevin Smith. I don't know. At one point in my life, I was like, yes. Now I'm like, I can care less. Literally,
man. How you gonna diss Kevin, man?
Kevin. So that tells you where Clerks 2 is going to end on my list this year. It's not going to be on the good list. Whatever like 3, yeah. 3, no, I did not like it. I did not like it, Sam. I am. But anyway, but this lady is now the mom in this movie, and I thought she did a good job. She seemed like a mom, like she seemed like she would have been the mother, in the original. This movie sucks, man. Oh my goodness, it's just it was. I got taken out by the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Not flashbacks, but the
you froze on me here.
Film. Oh, you there?
Nope, he's gone. Oh. He's gone again.
Okay, I'm back now. You there?
I'm here.
All right. Anyway, I got the flashbacks from the original, but I just think that I don't know. This movie wasn't as interesting, but I was more interested in seeing other people that was in the original movie pop up, like Flick, Schwartz, Scott, Fargus. That was more interesting to me than the rest of the story.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Just the way you're talking, it's like you're almost talking to a blank screen.
Go ahead. Did you hear what I said though?
Yeah. I enjoyed most of the cameos or returns. This story just, I don't know. Well, he's gone again. he's going. Oh boy.
All right, you're back.
Okay.
We got to wrap it up soon. But give me some more thoughts you have on
not much of a review on Christmas Story Christmas. What I can't really say I enjoyed much. I thought it was an okay film, but I don't like Ralphie. I didn't like the mom. Her casting took me out of the movie when she popped up. The kids really didn't have much going on. They tried to play they were getting bullied, but it just didn't. I just didn't live up to what the original did. And I honestly feel like this got made because of the success of 8-Bit Christmas. I think they're going off of that. Since that was inspired by A Christmas Story, let's actually do a sequel. But I just didn't feel like it lived up. And I'm not sure if Aaron's coming back. So, I don't know. Aaron, can you hear me? No? Okay. I can't end this because he's in control of it. What I did like was Fargus's cameo, to see how he changed as a person. I really like that. I think Aaron's trying to come back. I'm not sure. Seeing how much he grew as a person over these last 33 years, I really like that. He became a cop. He actually saves Ralphie in the end. Ralphie breaks into Fleck's store to steal this the star, because his star got broke, Christmas star, and I don't know. I don't think Aaron's there. He is. He's back.
I was here the whole time.
I couldn't hear you or see you. I asked if you could hear me.
Yeah, I was saying yes. But anyway, I heard what you said. Yeah, we're gonna end. I don't know what the heck happened there. That's weird. Okay. It's because I got Spectrum. I went from Spectrum to AT&T. There you go. There's your answer. All right. I give this movie 1 mark out of 5.
Whoa. I'm gonna be nicer. It's the holiday season, so I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Okay. It was. I'd rather watch 8-Bit Christmas. That's what I was thinking. I will mention this real quick before we leave. I did get to watch The Whale. Brandon Fraser was actually excellent in it. He should be nominated for the best actor. And Hong Chow, I think is her name. She should be nominated for best actress, supporting actress in this movie. She was excellent. I really enjoyed that. I just watched The Inspection, which is filmed by Elegance Bratton. It's his first film, but it's based off of his true events. It's based off of his life. He was a Marine who's gay, who was kind of bullied while he was in the military. We're going through basic training, and he successfully successfully survived it. And his relationship with his mother, Gabrielle Union's in it as well. He was great. The actor that plays the character was great. But the movie was pretty paid by the numbers. But the best thing I've seen, like I said, is The Whale. It sticks with me. So Brandon Fraser was excellent, and your heart goes out to him in that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen either. Only thing I saw this week, other than the Christmas movies, was Devotion, and that, it was, as you said, paint by numbers. But Jonathan Majors is excellent in that movie, and if you do watch it, anybody watches it, he would be your reason to watch it. Glenn Powell from Top Gun Maverick essentially plays the same character he played in Maverick, except he's the most humble, nice person that's ever been a pilot that I've ever seen, and he was more entertaining in Maverick. So he's just kind of boring in Devotion, but that's all. And I lost Aaron again.
We're gonna end it. What are we doing next week, Brandon?
We're doing Christmas Chronicles 2 with Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you for marking that with us. We're gonna end it because this is going crazy. Peace.